Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I'm excited for another edition of Dear John Letters. We've got that coming up here before you know it, so we'll be getting to that. A lot of other things to do today as well. Got a lot of great stories. I had a chance to pre-read a few of these, Heidi. There's some crazy people out there doing some crazy things. And we've got a good quote here. Our son will be proud of this quote because it's from Sylvester Stallone. We just watched him in a movie last night. Mm-hmm. We watched, what was the movie? Rambo. There we go. Winners are the ones who really listen to the truth of their hearts. Sylvester Stallone. I like that. That's pretty deep for Sly, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know. Winners are the ones who listen to the truth of their hearts. You'd expect that to say Confucius. It was Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Coming up, some special things going on today. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Thursday, May the 11th. Today is Eat What You Want Day. I think there's another one of those sometime in the year, because I seem to remember saying, isn't that every day? Mm-hmm. It is also Hostess Cupcake Day. It is National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. It is National Foam Rolling Day. And it is Root Canal Appreciation Day. Have you ever had a root canal?
I have not.
I
have a
have not
feeling
either.
I need one.
I've never had a root canal, but for those of you who have, is it something that we should all appreciate? Because I guess even though I've been
without
told,
it, you'd be in all kinds of pain,
well,
so
see,
you probably should appreciate it.
I've been told that they're very painful, but I've also been told that if you don't have it, it's even more painful. So I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that. You know, any kind of dental pain, not my thing. Any kind of mental pain, also not my thing. Any kind of pain, period, just not my thing. All right, coming up, we've got some more fun stuff on a Thursday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at channelsurfertv.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at channelsurfertv.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Harry Jackson didn't get caught breaking out of jail, but guess what? He got caught breaking back into jail.
We've heard about several people who do this.
You know, and it's funny because this story here happened in Georgia. He was nabbed trying to break back into jail. Let me explain what happened. According to Camden County, Georgia Sheriff Tommy Gregory, deputies found a jail door unlocked over the weekend. They said Jackson had opened the door to exercise in the exercise yard, and he realized nobody was watching, so he just climbed over the fence. Deputies say they spotted Jackson not leaving, but when he was coming back, he was trying to sneak back into jail with 14 packs of cigarettes. That's what he left for. He's like, you know, I could probably get another couple years for this, but what the heck? I'm going to make a break for it. Why didn't he keep going? You know, if he broke out of jail,
then he's in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, but he's in the same amount of trouble, isn't he?
I don't know. If he came back on his own, probably not as much as if they had to go out and hunt him down.
Well, and here's the problem, though. It's not like he bought those cigarettes because he
stole them.
Yeah, so 14 packs of cigarettes. The authorities say they believe they were stolen from a convenience store about a block away from the jail. Jackson now faces new charges of breaking out of jail and burglary. So he got the same exact thing as if he would have just kept on running. So, I don't know. So, to all of you prisoners listening, when you break out of jail, stay out. just kidding.
Or don't break out. Just
don't do that.
Finish your time.
Don't go to prison in the first place, and then if you do, don't break out. Yeah, serve your time and do your thing. I'm trying to make light of this, and I probably shouldn't, should I? Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs. That is on the way. And this one here, this dude that broke out of jail and didn't get caught, but got caught breaking back in. You know it's true? Because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. And this time, the brains that are on drugs are bird brains, Heidi.
Okay.
Yeah, from the Department of Transportation of California, they're having a problem with drunken birds. They've been careening into car windshields and flying into the pavement, leaving scores of dead carcasses along the interstate. Birds are eating a Perenni cottonese berry. It's a fermented fruit that gives birds an alcohol buzz. This has been going on for about 20 years, but the bushes were planted about 20 years ago by the DOT themselves. The landscapers were putting in these bushes, and they're like, oh, these would look pretty. What they didn't realize is that they were going to make these birds drunk. So now, why don't they just remove the bushes? Wouldn't you think that would be a good plan if you've had this happening for 20 years?
Let the birds have a good time. It's fine. Who
They
cares?
say-
People get to do it. Let the birds do it.
Well, they say so far there have been no injuries to people, but there have been a lot of injuries to birds. So there you go. Even birds can have their brain on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Today we're going to do a little creative banking, Heidi. Couple of individuals in our moment of duh today, Linda and Peter Garnett from England. They decided to print some phony money. They decided to print a $16.6 million check, and they tried to deposit said check into their own checking account. They made a couple of errors, though. Along with the check, they tried to deposit a welfare check at the same time. So they had a real welfare check and a fake $16.6 million, I think it's probably pounds in England, right? Either way. That just seemed a little bizarre to the person running the counter
You
at the
think?
bank. So they decided to check into it, and that's when they found out. Oh, and the other thing that was interesting, Linda of the Linda and Peter duo who did this actually works at the bank. So she worked at that bank, tried to cash a $16 million check and her welfare check at the same time. That just seems
I
really
wonder where
bizarre.
they came up with that number, 16.6.
I don't know. They probably just thought, hey, this is a weird number. Nobody's going to even notice. That's like, I talked to a guy, if you're going to lie big. I talked to a guy that was, turns out he was kind of a scam artist. But I remember when he was telling me about this project he was working on, he was waiting for the funding to come in. And he said, yeah, I got $200 billion, should be here next week. And I'm thinking, well, if you're going to lie, I mean, why not $200 billion? Wow. I was like, can you even fathom how much that is? That's like more than some countries have. That's when I decided, I don't think I'm going to work with this guy. Pretty sure this is all phony. And then he went to prison. All right, coming up, we've got your scoop of the day. That is on the way.
John and Heidi.
Would you like custom t-shirts for an event or sports team? We understand that usually the budget's not unlimited. We have full-color custom printed t-shirts for just $7 each. That's one of the best prices you'll find anywhere. No minimum orders, so you can print just one or print 1,000. The price is just $7 per shirt with a minimal setup fee per design. Make the memories of your next event last forever or help your team look amazing with a little help from CustomShirtInc.com. That's CustomShirtInc.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. Former FBI translator working in Detroit secretly flew to Syria 3 years ago where she married an Islamic State terrorist leader and was supposedly there to be investigating. So she was investigating the guy and decided, hey, you know what, while I'm here, let's just get married.
Okay.
That's kind of interesting. There are a lot of kids out there that are excited about this one. What are you laughing about? What?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
I can't say.
All right. If you can't say it, your filter is very, very, very vague. So I'm definitely going to trust that you can't say it. Kids are excited because they're looking at rolling back nutrition standard on school meals because they have been tightened up so much that some kids don't get hardly any food.
Eat. Yeah.
So the new administration is saying, hey, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna let these kids actually
Thank
eat
goodness.
something.
They'll have food.
Austria is trying to figure out a way to tax Google searches. Not even kidding. They're trying to figure out a way to tax every search you do on Google in Austria. Good luck to that one.
Yeah.
Then wouldn't people just start using something different? ABC is going to bring back a new show that it was a show that was huge in the 1970s. The Gong Show. Do you remember that?
I remember the Gong
think that
Show.
went
I
into
never
the early
really
80s.
loved the Gong Show.
There were some things on there that were pretty cool. So anyway, you know who the host is going to be?
Who?
Mike Myers.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm assuming the guy from ABC or from Saturday Night Live, not the killer from Halloween movies.
Oh,
Just
I would
assuming,
probably
though.
watch it if it was him.
Michael Myers. Instead of gonging you, he kills you. That's a whole different kind of gong show.
That would be
Gongs
more
you with a
interesting to me.
sledgehammer. I don't know. Authorities in northern Mexico are trying to cut down on accidents by fining drivers who apply lipstick or shave or have a pet on their lap while they're driving. So apparently this has become such a big thing, they need to actually make it a law now. That's going to be happening in northern Mexico. An educational bit of trivia for you today. Heidi, you ready for this?
Sure.
What would you get if you asked for a pottle of ice cream at the supermarket?
A pottle?
Yeah, how much is a pottle of ice cream?
I have no idea.
It is a legal measurement describing the amount equal to 2 quarts. Legally, there is no such term for a half a gallon. So a pottle is the official term for a half a gallon.
Why not just say half a gallon?
Because that's not an official term. You need a pottle. And I'm thinking next time...
Nobody would know what you wanted. You'd have
like
to
a
explain
pottle.
to them, I want a pottle. What's a pottle? A half gallon. So you might as well just say half gallon.
Well, but at
So
least you'd be
stupid.
right. Hey, police in California were forced to tase a man who... Oh, we already talked about this. He was the guy that got in an argument with his wife because he didn't notice that she had her hair done.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Can you imagine? That's still in the news. That was like a week ago that we read it the first time. You imagine that poor guy? I mean, he got tased because he didn't notice his wife's hair. He is every day for the rest of his life. He's like, did you do something with your hair? Just want to make sure.
I doubt they're probably still together.
Yeah, probably not. Gallup poll says that 46% of Americans believe in creationism as found in the Bible. 32% believe in theistic evolution, God directing creation over millions of years using evolution. And then 15% believe in evolution without any divine intervention. Says that these statistics seem to mirror opinions from 3 decades ago, meaning we haven't really changed our minds one way or the other on this matter for at least 30 years. So that's kind of interesting, because there are some that would make you think that everybody's no longer believing in God, and that everything, we're all becoming heathens. So the good news is, according to this poll, we're the same amount heathen as we were 30 years ago. And one final thing here. Sad news for you, Gary. You're probably the last person in a long line of... Let me try that again. If your name is Gary, you might be the last Gary. That name is going extinct. We don't know why. It says the name has been plummeting in popularity ever since the 1950s. And I just thought of it. I don't know any young Garys. Do you? Mm-mm. I know a Gary that's in his 30s. That's about the youngest Gary that I know. Americans saw 39,000 babies named Gary, and this compared to only 442 in 2013. So 39,000 back in the 1950s, and the number just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
That's true with a lot of names,
Yeah.
though.
So if your
all
name
names
is Gary,
kind of go up and down.
I think I know why. You know whose fault that is? I'm going to blame that one on Gary Busey. There we go. I'm just kidding. I actually kind of like Gary Busey.
I like Gary Busey.
All right, coming up, we've got some more fun stuff, and your Dear John letter is on the way.
John and Heidi.
80s in the Sand will be happening this November in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
And that'll be here before you know it.
Join us and have a blast with 80s in the Sand.
An all-inclusive vacation with some of the greatest bands of the 80s.
Plus, you can meet some 80s icons from the movies and television as well.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website is 80sinthesand.com.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
And it's time right now for
Dear John Letters.
Dear John. Dear John.
And our Dear John letter comes to you this week from... Oh, I guess I don't tell you that till the end, do I? But I've got it here. If you want to send in a Dear John letter, we'll also tell you how to do that at the end. So let's just get to our Dear John letter. Here it is. Dear John, my ex-husband and I have gotten along for many years. We thought that was important for our kids' sake. I agree with that, don't you? Mm-hmm. It's very important. Sadly, these last few months have been tough. He seems to be doing everything possible to drive a wedge in between my daughters and I. We all decided that we didn't want our girls drinking energy drinks, but I found out that he's been getting them energy drinks behind my back for several months. I've politely asked that he stop doing that, and he keeps saying that I need to loosen up and let the girls do what their friends do. He said, we're making them look like outsiders by telling them they can't have energy drinks like normal kids. Okay. He says, first of all, I don't think that's normal, but more importantly, even if it is normal, as a nurse that has seen the damage that can be done by these drinks, I just don't want my kids drinking them. Am I out of line by being upset about this? How can I get this through to him and his new girlfriend? Signed, Upset Mama. Okay, well... That last line, I think, tells me way more than anything else. A new girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And somebody's driving a wedge between you and your girls. I don't know that it's your husband your ex-husband that you need to talk to.
Yeah, things were good before, and now all of a sudden they're not good. I would say that's clear what the problem is.
And here's where I would start. I wouldn't talk to her about it either. I would sit down with your daughters. If you're a nurse and you can have a conversation with them and make it so they don't even want
But you know what? Kids don't care. I've had the same conversation with our daughter. She keeps sneaking out and buying those stupid things.
But that's the thing.
And I agree with this mom completely.
I do too.
Do not let your kids drink those things.
Well, if you sit down with your daughter and say, or daughters, it looks like girls. So if you sit down with your girls and say, hey, I understand your friends drink these, but you know what? If your friends were shooting up heroin, would I be okay with them doing that? That's just it.
That was what I was just going to say.
If
the dad's saying you got to let them do it because their friends are doing it, well,
that doesn't make
I'm sure their friends do lots of things that you don't want your children doing. You have to be a parent.
Yeah. So if the friends become prostitutes, should we say, well, our daughters get to do that too?
Right.
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
You don't make any decision because your friends did it. That's a bad reason to do anything. But with this mother's background as a nurse, I think that gives her a little more clout to be able to say, girls, look at this. We have a friend that died.
But she probably pulls that card all the time, so that's not going to help with those girls. Well, she just needs to say, I'm your mom, and you cannot drink them. And if I do find out that you've been drinking one, I'm taking your phone, or I'm taking your car, or whatever.
That's going to drive a bigger wedge between mama and daughters, I think.
But they're not going to listen just because she says, I'm a nurse.
Okay. But if she
because she's already explained to that, I'm sure.
I don't know. Doesn't say that. It sounds like she had a deal with the husband in the past, the ex-husband, and all of a sudden that deal has changed. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with this last line, a new girlfriend in the picture. Maybe you do have the conversation with her then. Have a conversation with the new girlfriend, because if there was no problem
encourage
before,
the new girlfriend to drink lots of energy drinks, and the problem will take care of itself.
Oh, Heidi. I just love working with my wife. She never, ever, ever makes me, concerned for what she says on the air. Anyway, did we answer this proficiently, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's move on. Upset Mama, thank you so much for sending that in. Hey, if you would like to have a Dear John letter, or you can also chime in, I want to let you know, you can chime in on this one as well on our Facebook page. But if you have something you'd like to submit for next week, we already have some for next week, but yours could trump it. It could be better, right?
Sure.
So if you've got a great Dear John letter, and we can push the other guys off for another week, that's cool. Submit your Dear John letter to us at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Would you like custom t-shirts for an event or sports team? We understand that usually the budget's not unlimited. We have full-color custom printed t-shirts for just $7 each. That's one of the best prices you'll find anywhere. No minimum orders, so you can print just one or print 1,000. The price is just $7 per shirt with a minimal setup fee per design. Make the memories of your next event last forever, or help your team look amazing with a little help from CustomShirtInc.com. That's CustomShirtInc.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The most common name in Italy is Mario Rossi. That's interesting. So that would be like the Michael Smith of Italy.
Okay.
Because here, I think, isn't that the most common name here, Michael Smith?
I thought it was John Smith.
Is it? Oh, maybe it is. I don't know. John Doe? I don't know. I've never met a John Doe. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
More Americans spend 4th of July with their families than any other holiday. About 80% spend 4th of July with their family. That's even a bigger percentage than Christmas, which is crazy. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Oscar winner Halle Berry was originally offered the part of Annie in the Speed film rather than Sandra Bullock. And guess who was supposed to play the part of Jack that Keanu Reeves got?
Who?
Stephen Baldwin.
I think they made the right decision.
I think so too. And I'm not saying I don't like either of those two, but I think that it would be hard for me to imagine those two in that role.
Yeah, they made the right choice.
Oh, and that was kind of the launching pad for both of their careers, by the way. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The word taxi is spelled the same in English, German, French, Swedish, and Portuguese. So if you ever need a taxi in England or Germany or France or Sweden or Portugal, all you got to do is look for taxi.
Okay, thank you.
Just want to make sure I got all those names right. Thanks for listening to a couple of fun facts on a Thursday.
John and Heidi.
Have you thought of starting a home-based business but didn't like the idea of calling family and friends? This top-quality fitness and health products company lets you take advantage of their advertising power to reach people who wish to add a few hundred or a few $1,000s a week to their income by following a simple system. Plus, everyone who joins the team after you benefits you as well. To learn more about how you can leverage your time to help others get healthy and create wealth from home, call Scott Smith at 866-741-7242. That's 866-741-7242.
John
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. There has been a bunch of astonishing facts about the financial costs associated with obesity in the U.S. of A. Now, I got to tell you, this survey was conducted by a gym. Not just any gym, but a fitness center that has a bunch of locations. So I'm just making sure I tell you that ahead of time. But they say America's expanding waistline comes with a price tag of $122.9 billion. Wow.
Yikes.
That's hopefully not per person. Says with obese Americans losing nearly $10,000 per year out of their own pocket. You want some of these, what they call fat-onomics breakdown numbers?
Sure.
All right. More weight means more gas for your car or truck to burn as it's cruising you around. Obese Americans burn at least 9 more gallons of gas per year than the typical American. So you get to add your fat gas tax, as they put it, add about $36 a year.
Okay.
I drive a lot, so I'm going to add $50 a year. An average of 1 full week of work lost due to obesity-related ailments. Total lost wages, $932. Now, I got to pause right there. I have not lost any work because of what are obesity-related ailments? Like, sorry, doc, or sorry, boss, I can't make it to work today. I can't tie my shoes. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Heart problems. Okay. Diabetes.
I suppose if those, but I haven't had those things, and I'm not a little guy. What are you? She's looking at her watch right now. Are you expecting it any minute now?
Any minute. I can hear you breathing 2 rooms away.
Oh, not all the time. I had a spring cold when that was going on. A visit to the doctor once per year, strictly for obesity-related ailments, copay $15. The average American spends 4% of their annual income on clothing every year, but those who are bigger pay more because their clothing is more expensive. So an extra surcharge of $485. The typical American travels by airplane 2.5 times a year, an average cost of $331 per flight, but Americans carrying a little bit of weight often have to pay for an extra seat on these flights. Travel tax, $828.
Yikes.
I've never had them charge me for an extra seat.
I don't think we've ever traveled at the size that we're at now.
I would have liked to have had an extra seat at the concert the other night. I was like snuggled in next to a couple of people. I'm like, hey guys, how you doing? Do you mind if I put my arm around you? Because I don't know where else to put it. It's either that or it's going to sit on your lap, one or the other. Either way, anyway, that is the breakdown of the Fat-onomics study that says that it's costing.
I don't know that I've ever seen anybody though have to pay for a second seat. Not on any flights I've ever been on. So
it's because
you must have to be really, really big before they say you're going to need 2 seats.
It's because those darn airlines are so easy to work with. That's why. Okay, let's just move on. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at channelsurfertv.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at channelsurfertv.com.
John and Heidi.
Hey, if you've got somebody that's constantly running behind, why are you pointing at me? We may have the perfect gift for these people. So if you got someone that's like, oh man, I don't know what's going on. I was just a few minutes late. Must have been traffic. Yeah, that's what it is. Well, if you've heard that a lot, this may no longer be a legitimate excuse. The world's most accurate clock has even more accurate clocks to compete with now. People use atomic clocks. Well, now there's an entire world that can stay on time, because there's a new clock that is 1,000 times more accurate than atomic clocks. It's accurate to the femtosecond. A femtosecond is the smallest unit of time used by scientists. It is, to a second, what a second is to 32 million years. So it's that accurate. So 1 second to 32 million years is equal to a femtosecond to 1 second.
Okay.
So anyway, let's just put it this way. This clock is pretty darn accurate, but you can still oversleep. So don't know if you need it. And who needs to be that accurate? 32 million times
if
more
you're
accurate.
Relying on being that accurate, you might want to.
That are kind of within like a 4 or 5 minute, they're pretty close. I'll just go with this one. This looks like it's about right.
John and Heidi.
A woman is told by a judge that she gets to keep her cats. All 104
Oh my
of her cats. Yeah. This happened in Fairfax County, Virginia. Kristen Kierg was told that she gets to keep her kitty cats. And they're in her townhouse.
Oh my gosh.
Well, here's why, though. Because her house is very clean, and the cats are groomed and in good health. Kristen produced medical records for every cat, showing that she has them all up to date on everything they need to be up to date on. She has 101 litter boxes that she cleans twice a day.
Gosh.
Twice a day? That's 202 litter box cleanings, if my math is correct.
That's all she'd ever have time to do.
So. Anyway, she keeps the 15 water bowls and 20 food bowls well stocked, and she demonstrated she can remember every cat by name. She did confess that her house might have a bit of an odor.
You think?
It smells
And
a little...
how would anybody know if she didn't know the cat's proper name?
It smells a little bit like...
It's not like cats
cat?
come to you when you call them by name.
Hey,
So
Fifi,
she could say
Foo-Foo,
that.
Fluffy.
They could say, what's this one's name? And she could say, that's Snowball. And they'd be like,
Oh, wow.
man, she's good.
How about this one over here? Well, that's Snowflake. How about this one? Well, that's Snowpile? Don't know. You caught me. I've got too many white cats. All right. They all look the same. Coming up in a bit, we've got some more fun stuff to share on this Thursday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
It's almost graduation time. If you have a son or daughter finishing high school, you need to hear this. They can go to college without racking up a pile of student loans. Matthew Einstone did. He saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then he built a system to show you how to do it too. Learn how you can use this system for your kids or for yourself. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. Use promo code RADIO20 to save 20% at freeeducationuniversity.com. That's freeeducationuniversity.com.
John and Heidi.
Do you feel guilty if you take a nap during the daytime, Heidi? Like if you're...
I can't really sleep during the day. I try, and I can't fall into a sound sleep anyway, so why bother?
That's where I struggle, is because I feel guilty. I'm like, man, I have so much stuff I should probably be doing right now. But according to this, they say don't feel bad if you're taking a nap. 34% of adults do take a daily nap. Now, I don't get a daily nap by any means. There's a report from Pew Research Center that says the past 24 hours, 34% of U.S. adults have taken a nap. Men are more likely than women to nap. Only those who are under age 50, though, were counted. Both men, if that's who you're counting, people under the age 50. But then both men and women are equal inclined to taking a nap at that age. Napping accelerates once you hit the age 80, by the way. So once you turn 80 years old, chances of you taking a nap increase quite a bit. It says all age groups between 18 and 79 have about the same inclination towards snoozing in daylight hours. They're just going, it's too tough. I don't really get to do that. So, small percentage. Hey, speaking of napping, I got another story here that kind of goes right hand in hand with this, Heidi. It says cardboard boxes certainly are not new technology, but when they're linked to a practice that started in Finland decades ago to help babies sleep safely, they're taking on a new purpose. The so-called baby boxes make their way to the U.S. of A. through a Los Angeles-based company that's partnered with health officials to give the boxes away for free in an online initiative that offers advice amid the reducing of sudden, unexpected infant death syndrome. SIDS, have you heard of this? So this almost became my good news. I do have a link to it on our Facebook page, but I'm still a little bit confused on how this thing works.
It's just a cardboard box?
Apparently. You put your baby in a box? I don't know. That just sounds really weird to me. But I have a link to it. I don't have babies. We were just talking about that. Somebody I went to school with just had a baby.
Yeah.
Our baby turned 16 next month.
I couldn't even imagine.
I'm like, we don't have babies. So if you do, or if you're interested in this, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is good news. This is just a really neat story, and I love heartwarming stories. Do you like heartwarming stories?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Or do you like cold-hearted stories?
I like heartwarming stories.
Very good. Well, fifth grader Isabella Nicola wanted to play the violin, but she was born with no left hand and severely abbreviated forearm. Well, her music teacher reached out to Mason, his alma mater, and the bioengineering department responded, and last Thursday, was this a couple weeks ago now, Isabella received her final prosthetic built from a 3D printer. Now, Isabella can play the violin.
Oh, that's cool.
That is really cool. If you'd like to read the story, I've got that at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. I wonder which hand. Okay, no left hand. So right, left. So that would be the one
that you need for the strings.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
Well, unless she's using her left hand over here and they're just using the bow.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how it
Either
works.
way, it's super impressive.
Now, if you'd like to read the whole story and find out more, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Big thank you to the folks that sent in Dear John letters for this week. We've got some for next week, but you know what? We haven't selected our Dear John letter for next week, so if yours is even better, then maybe that'll trump this one, and you'll get selected for next week. And no matter what, we'll have it eventually. So if you have a good Dear John letter to share, you can share that to us through the same Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
Time now for a bonus break on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Today is a special day because today is a really fun thing. It's Eat What You Want Day. We're going to visit with Jackson Kolby. He's with Southern Recipe, and we're going to kind of chat a little bit about this day and all kinds of fun stuff. Jackson, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm splurging. That's what I'm doing today. I'm eating everything I want.
It's like, well, I got to start out with this for breakfast and this for lunch and this for dinner. Like, you got to plan it out and pace yourself, don't you?
A little bit. I mean, but if you have a body like mine, it needs constant attention with that waistline. So
there you go.
It's always a good thing to have as much as I can, and today, May 11th, is a perfect day for it.
There you go. Conditioning yourself so you'll be ready for this year-round, right?
Power eater, yes. I think that should be a sport.
Absolutely. And today, again, May 11th is it's fun. Every day we try to celebrate the fun, weird, quirky little holidays that come along, but today is kind of a fun one. This is a pretty easy one to celebrate. Again, today is Eat What You Want Day. And do you kind of have some history on this holiday and where this came from?
I actually do. It was
Nice.
created by Thomas and Ruth Roy. They were a couple of online influencers. They wanted to help people break away from frustrating health and diet trends. And they decided, on May 11th, let's just let go, enjoy life a little, and just party. Let's have a good time with our food. And nutritionists, they kind of don't like this holiday because it kind of gets people off of the track of eating healthy. But we do have some tips and suggestions on ways to keep it healthy but still indulge.
And the nice thing is, if it only comes once a year, I mean, it's like Thanksgiving, everybody kind of pigs out on Thanksgiving, but if you did that every day, that would be bad. But, if you're just doing that one day, I don't think it's that big a deal. Some of these nutritionists need to just take a chill pill, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's about balance, really. I mean, in your normal everyday diet. I mean, I know folks who eat like rabbits most of the week, and then they hit the weekend and they just go crazy for 2 days.
There you go.
And then they just start it right back up again, and they're probably the thinnest and most healthy people that I know.
Well, now, Jackson, the gentleman we're talking to right now, is with a company called Southern Recipe, and you guys have a product called pork rinds. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that know exactly what that is, and they've had them before. But for somebody that's never had a pork rind before and they don't know what that is, explain what a pork rind is and why people should maybe give one of those a try on this special day, this Eat What You Want Day.
What's good about pork rinds, they are higher in protein and lower in fat than a serving of peanuts. They are a better dipper than your chips. And they're actually healthier for you. 9 grams of protein, 0 grams of carbohydrates. It's low glycemic. 5 grams of monosaturated fat per serving. It kind of ties in with this Eat What You Want Day because you could eat as many of these as you want. It's going to fill you up. It's going to be good for you. It's the good kind of fat that you want. But you could use it, to dip into. We have this is an awesome thing, creamy bacon dip.
Ooh.
It's the best thing ever. Go to southernrecipe.com. We have recipes on there, but that's one of the recipes that we feature. It hits everything that you want. You want cheese. You want cheese on Eat What You Want Day because that's arguably the tastiest indulgence that you can actually have. This has that in it, and of course it has bacon. You can't go wrong with bacon at all, period. And with the pork rind, it's kind of like more bacon in a way. So
it kind of is.
You're kind of doubling up on the pig, which who doesn't love the pig? And
it's fun because the good folks there at Southern Recipe sent us a little box of some of the pork rinds to try, and we got those in the mail about, a week ago or a couple days ago, and And there's a young lady in the office building that we're in that had never tried pork rinds. And I said, "You've never had them ever?" She goes, "I've never had them before. I don't even know what that is." And she said, "It just sounds weird." I said, "Well, would you try one if I gave you some?" And she's like, "I just don't know. It just sounds so weird." And I said, "Just try it." And she loved them. She's like, "Wow, these are really good."
And it's funny, too, because, I mean, pork rinds have been around for almost 60 years. And it's almost like a reemergence in the snacking industry, because it's like a lot of millennials and that kind of groups, they're trying pork rinds for the first time, and they're loving them.
And I was going to say, she kind of fits in that category. I don't know how old she is, and I would never ask, but I know she's younger than I am, and I'm in my 40s, so I'd guess her in her upper 20s, lower 30s. And it was a foreign concept to her, pork rinds. She's like, "What is that?"
And you know what? And they're beautiful with beer. I mean, I don't don't overindulge, but please drink responsibly. But if you try one of our like hot and spicy pork rinds with your favorite porter or even an IPA, man, you're gonna be in heaven, because that's some good snacking and that's some good eating. While you're watching the game or whatever, or eating what you want. Like
there you
today.
go. Well, today is Eat What You Want Day. Now, for people who want to try these, if they've never had a chance to try pork rinds and they're saying, "You know what, today's be a good day to give this a shot. It's Eat What You Want Day. I want to try something new." Where can they find Southern Recipe pork rinds?
We're at all Walmarts all over the place. Look for us at your local convenience store. We do have a Find Us little thing on our website at southernrecipe.com. Visit us there, and we're sure that you can find us all over the place, and get yourself a couple bags and enjoy yourself. Look for us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest as well. We have, like I said, tons of recipes on southernrecipe.com, and also on our Pinterest page. And the pictures, you're going to go crazy, because you can make a pizza dough out of pork rinds.
Oh, wow.
It's just heavenly. It's just something that, and it's better for you than your normal pizza dough.
I'm going to have to try that. I've never even thought to do that. Again, our guest today, Jackson Kolby with Southern Recipe, and they've got some pork rinds that you can get at Walmarts all over the country. If you have a different store you go to and they don't carry them at that store, ask them to, and I'm sure they'll hook you up. If they say, "Hey, we want to keep you coming here," so yeah, we can get that. Again, the Southern Recipe has the pork rinds, but today, the big day we're celebrating is Eat What You Want Day, so be sure to celebrate accordingly. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.